Happy Tuesday from Houston, Texas, and welcome to Stellar Parenting with Brandi. I'm your host, Brandi Kahn. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I also hold a Master of Science degree in psychology with an emphasis in child and adolescent development. I'm super passionate about helping parents, teachers, and guardians combine and mix the magic of the stars with the art of intentionally and consciously raising our children. You can find me at brandicon.com. And if you'd like to be a caller on the show, join my Facebook group, Psychology Infused Astrology, and sign up on the list. I'd love to hear from you. So for today's show, we've got a lot of fun. We will be going over the transits for the week, and boy, are they really, really good this week. We've got a lot to talk about. We will also have a few minutes for our weekly segment and the spotlight, and then there's time for a caller. So if you'd like an astrology or a tarot reading, call into the show. I'd love to hear from you. So let's begin with our transits for this week. Here we are, Tuesday, November the 19th, and it's a really big day in the astrology community because Pluto officially left the sign of Capricorn today and entered into the forward-moving progressive sign of Aquarius. Pluto will never be in Capricorn again for our lifetimes for another 240 years. And the transit of Pluto in Aquarius will last for the next 20 years. Okay, so what does Pluto and Aquarius mean for society? And moreover, what does it mean for you as an individual? So when we're talking about Pluto and astrology, Pluto is an active agent for transformation, for healing, purification, regeneration, and empowerment. Okay, so Pluto is like the god of the underworld in Greek mythology. And one of the things that Pluto does, he brings things to light that have been hidden so that change is able to occur. Now, we're talking about things that can be hidden within our psyches, limiting beliefs that we may be carrying around that we really need to release so that we can step into our power. We're also talking about information that may have been hidden from the masses. So for example, here in the US, there's a lot of buzz right now about information coming out about UFOs, extraterrestrial life forms, UAPs, that type of thing. And when we're talking about Pluto and Aquarius, let's talk about Aquarius. Now, the sign of Aquarius is the sign of awakening, revelation, change, breakthroughs, reform. And Aquarius is also the sign of society, humanity, and the masses. So one fundamental meaning that comes from Pluto being in Aquarius is power to the people. Power to the people. And how do we know this? Well, if we take a look back at other times in history when Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius, that was also one of the themes during those times. So let's talk about when Pluto was last in the sign of Aquarius. That was from 1778 all the way until 1798. And during that span, during that period of time, we had the French Revolution, the American Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, and also the Age of Enlightenment. All of these things occurred the last time Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius. During those times, during those movements, there was a dismantling of social hierarchies, okay? There was also resistance to the powers that be, and there was violent responses to economic disparity. So think about how Marie Antoinette was known by her people, by the French people. She was known for her extravagant and lavish spending, her lifestyle. And she was also blamed for the financial crisis in in France. She was blamed for that. She was imprisoned in August of 1792, and executed in October of 1793. So that's just one example of how the people took their power back in a situation where they felt as if they were disenfranchised or disadvantaged to some extent by the powers that be. So when you think about the election here in the United States and you think about the issues that were at the top of the list for many voters, one of the top issues was the economy. Okay, the economy. And Senator Bernie Sanders criticized the Democratic Party for leaving behind the working class, forgetting about the working class, the blue collar workers in this country. And prior to the election, there was a lot of outrage at the cost of living, the high cost of eggs and gasoline. And so now, if this issue is not corrected within the next few years, Pluto and Aquarius could serve as a gatekeeper for needed transformation of an old system where only those at the top are able to benefit and those at the bottom are left scrounging and suffering and having a hard time making it from day to day. And people will speak out even more and more as we really get into the energy of Pluto and Aquarius if that situation is not remedied in some way. Now, technology will also be a huge focus during the time that Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius. We'll see an advancement of technological breakthroughs and what you want to watch out for if you are a parent with children. There's so much technology now. We've got iPhones and iPads and almost everything you can think of, right? So if there's even more technology that's on the horizon for us, you want to make sure as a parent that you're teaching your children how to use technology responsibly. So we want to make sure that our children are using technology in a way not to kind of tap out of life and isolate themselves, but instead using it in a way really to have deeper connections with other people and in some way have the benefit of community within the technology that we are using. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, watch out for more information about other life forms in our universe. Now, I did expect that there would be more information coming out about other life forms once Pluto was in Aquarius, but I was shocked here in the US last week when we had a hearing on Capitol Hill, and there was a lot of unbelievable information that came out about UAPs here in this country. So with Pluto and Aquarius now, I think there's going to be even more information that comes out, especially over the next 3 to 4 years, and especially here in the United States. Now, when many astrologers and people were thinking and talking about Pluto moving into Aquarius, there was almost this idea that we were going to waltz into the age of Aquarius and there would be peace, light, and love for everyone, and everything would just be better, just like that, instantaneously. And I don't think that that's going to be the way that things happen with Pluto and Aquarius. So we still have conflicts in the Middle East. We still have conflicts, with Ukraine and Russia. So it looks like there may be a period of time where certain societal structures will be challenged so that they can be revamped and reformed, transformed, and reborn in some way. So this is going to be a major period of time, ladies and gentlemen, where we as a people can step into our power and demand something different. We can step into the power of Pluto and demand something different. So those are the highlights for Pluto and Aquarius. It's going to be an interesting 20 years, so buckle up your seatbelts. That's all I can say about that. Now, on Thursday, November 21st, we will have the sun moving out of Scorpio and into the fire sign of Sagittarius. And with the sign of Sagittarius, there's the psychological need for truth, for meaning, significance, purpose, hope, and justice. So these are ideals that will really be emphasized within our society as a whole while the sun is transiting through the sign of Sagittarius. And on Thursday, November 21st, we will have the Sun in Sagittarius sextiling Pluto and Aquarius. So this is an excellent time on Thursday. And for about, let's say, 3 or 4 days after Thursday, it's a great time to make changes to your environment. Anything that you've been wanting to change, it will be an excellent time to put those changes in motion. And also anything that you wanted to change about your identity or your sense of self, anything that you wanted to explore along those lines, it will be a wonderful time. So use the energy of Sun sextile Pluto to really step into your power, to step into your autonomy, and to call forth your inner strength and to take charge of your life. And on Friday, November 22nd, we will have Venus sextile Saturn in Pisces. Now, Venus signifies our relating principles. She shows how we relate to others. She also symbolizes what we might find beautiful or aesthetically pleasing, and also money as well. And when we're talking about Saturn, we're talking about the teacher of the zodiac, and he's all about structure, order, discipline, and consistency. So when Venus sextiling Saturn, this transit will shine a positive light on the duties and obligations that we have in our relationships. So it will be a great time to sit down with a loved one or a friend and come to a mutual understanding about what you expect from each other in your relationship. And also, this is a really good transit for creative activities that require very close attention to detail. So if you are a parent that has a child, and that child has a musical or artistic competition this weekend, it might go very well in their favor. Keep that in mind. And this week, for In the Spotlight, just briefly, I wanted to talk about Scorpio since we are wrapping up Scorpio season. I want to take a moment and just remind parents of Scorpio children not to use astrology to label your child, but instead really try to use astrology to understand your child and understand how their psyche works. I think out of all 12 signs, Scorpio is probably the sign that gets the most flack, man. They take a beating, they get the most heat. I've seen, internet memes where Scorpio is referred to as evil, vicious, toxic, the devil, right? But here's the secret with that. Any of the 12 signs can be toxic if they are expressed in a way that is unbalanced. Okay? So when we're talking about the spectrum of Scorpio, the highest expression of Scorpio, that person will have determination, loyalty, resilience, and power. Now, if we're talking about the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to expressing Scorpio energy, then that's where things can be a little bit obsessive, maybe possessive, controlling, and there's jealousy as well. Okay? So if your child has significant Scorpio placements, Sun, Moon, Rising especially, or even Mercury, Venus, and Mars to a lesser extent, and they are expressing the behaviors at the lower end of the spectrum for Scorpio, I want you to remember not to label your child as the hopeless Scorpio, okay? They have a psychological need for empowerment through transformation. Again, they have a deep need. They are here to empower themselves through changes they make, through the way that they transform themselves, through the way that they transform their lives. And how Scorpio children use their power Guess how that will be determined? That's going to be determined by the type of guidance they receive in their early years, in those childhood years, okay? So it's absolutely pivotal and it's critical for them to establish strong spiritual values while they are young, okay? Because when these children learn to use their power in a positive way, their influence can really help others make transformational changes. And many times what I've noticed about my clients with really strong Scorpio placements, they go through really tough life experiences, sometimes very challenging life experiences. And after going through those experiences, they are able to transform themselves and to step into their power. And then because they've been there, done that, they are then able to turn around and help other people and guide other people who are going through the tough and challenging experiences because they're doing it from a place of, I've been there, I understand, let me help you. And let me tell you, that is extremely powerful, very powerful. So instead of giving your child or even other people in your life, it can be your siblings, friends, other people who have strong Scorpio placements, instead of giving them messages that they are broken or that they are somehow naturally defective because they were born with their sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Scorpio, that's not what you want to do. What you want to tell them instead is, you are powerful. I love to see you stand in your power. I love the way you radiate when you are in your power. And you are here to change the world. You are here to do wonderful and amazing things. And for any of my listeners, if you have your sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Scorpio, the same goes for you. And I just want to speak to you for a minute. You are here to really expand on your sense of power. You are here to stand in your power, and you are here to share that sense of empowerment with other people around you. So that's for all of my Scorpio listeners, those of you with children who may have significant placements in the sign of Scorpio. I know that you guys really catch it from what I see out of all 12 signs, and my heart goes out to you for that. And I wonder how difficult it must be to constantly hear negative things about who people perceive you to be, or who people think that you are. Okay, so that is my message for all of you Scorpios out there. I wish you the best, love, light, peace, everything. Stand in your power and don't be afraid to step into your power. Okay. And now we will go to our caller. We have Carol, who is on the line. Hello, Carol.
Hi, I'm here. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good.
How are you? Good, good. Nice to hear from you. Thank you so much for calling in.
Sure.
Yes. And would you like an astrology reading or a tarot reading today?
Astrology.
Oh, awesome. And you know your time of birth?
Yeah, yes, I was born at 8. Let me think of that. Yes, 8:15 on December 25th, 1968. 8:15 in the morning.
Okay. You said 1968?
Yes.
Okay. And then what's the city?
Chicago Heights, Illinois.
All right. Let me just pull you right up and give me just a second, Carol.
Sure.
So are you still in Chicago Heights right now?
No, I live in Cedar Lake, Indiana now. I've lived there
Indiana.
a long time
Okay.
now.
Yeah. Well, how is it in Indiana right now? What's the weather like there?
It is beautiful, 65 and sunny. It was a little cloudy this morning, but I was out. We're taking the cat for a walk in the sun, and I've got daisies blooming. We haven't had any much cold weather. I got some, even a
Wow.
petunia popped up this morning. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So is that normal for this time of year?
No, it's not. We've had
Yeah.
abnormally warm fall, and they're predicting not a lot of snow this winter
Oh,
in this part of
wow.
the country.
Yeah, quite interesting. Yeah. Well, I've got you pulled up here, Carol, and just let me make sure we've got December 25th, 1968 in Chicago Heights at 8:15 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. So what I see for you, I do see that your sun is in the sign of Capricorn. You also have Capricorn rising, and Mercury in
Wow, yes, I
Capricorn.
have a son. Wow, that's amazing because I have a son that was born on the same day, Christmas Day, but 1990. We were both born on. That's why my name's Carol. I named him Nicholas. We were both born on Christmas Day. Yes, very
Oh,
strange.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and I have
Beautiful.
another son too, but that one, it's yeah. The newspaper came out, took a picture of us.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Wow. That's
yeah.
wonderful. And I do see that we have your moon in the sign of Pisces. You're aware of that, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay, okay. So I want to start off. Let's start off with the moon just for a second, because the moon shows us a lot about our feelings, emotions, what makes us feel safe, nurtured, and how we like to nurture others. Now, almost every client that I've had with moon in Pisces, they tend to be extremely sensitive, energetically sensitive, and emotionally sensitive. Is that true for you?
yes, yes. Very true. In a lot of ways,
Yeah.
in all my senses. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
and I see
And
that you
I'm
have your
sensitive on
moon.
other people. Go ahead. Other
Go
people's
ahead.
energies too.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And I would actually say, Carol, that you're probably quite intuitive. You know, you're talking about
Yeah.
other people's energies. It looks like you've got probably, strong potential to develop your intuition in a strong way.
Yes, I'm
You understand that?
getting better. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I know right here, I noticed that your moon is conjunct Chiron, and I just want to talk about that for a second, because Chiron is an asteroid, and Chiron usually shows up where we may be a little bit vulnerable, where we might have a little bit of work to do, or if there's just a little bit of a soft spot. So with the moon conjunct Chiron, I would say that maybe you've had these strong emotions or strong intuitive insights for your entire life, and it may not have always been the most comfortable to experience these.
Yeah,
Does that
that's
make
correct.
sense?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. Were you a child who, by any chance, were you a child that maybe saw things that other people didn't, or did experience things or felt things,
Yes,
energy
I
around you?
did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sensed a spiritual presence in the house I was born, grew up in. That was the only house I sensed it in. Other places I live, I haven't had it. I knew there was something not good in the house. Yeah, and nobody else
Yeah.
noticed it but me. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
my
it looks
mom
like.
did. I take that back. My mom did a little,
Your
but
mom did
yeah,
as well. Okay, yeah, yeah, I'm seeing that here, and mom or the moon also can represent our mother or the maternal line in our family. So the fact that we've got moon in Pisces conjunct Chiron, that would also kind of lean towards mom may have had the same level of sensitivity, and actually you may have gotten it from her. Does that make sense?
I believe my mother was my soulmate and my best friend, and she's been gone 20 years. And when she left, she took part of me with her. Yes, absolutely true.
Wow, wow. And it's so interesting that you call your mother your soulmate, because
Yes,
we do have that moon conjunct Chiron, actually conjunct your north node as well. And with when I'm doing synastry charts, I can usually tell if someone has a soul connection to someone else if there is like a placement that's close to the north node. So with moon, I would say in close proximity to the north node, it almost looks like mom who's the soulmate, or mom who I've had a connection with before at another time. You understand?
yeah. When I say soulmate, I mean we've lived other lives, many lives together.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, yeah, I see that here. Now let's take a look at your sun, because you've got your sun in the earth sign of Capricorn. Now,
Yeah.
Capricorn is, the first sign of winter. It's cold outside. So Capricorn tends to be a colder sign. They tend to be much more pragmatic and grounded. And with Capricorn, there's a psychological need for achievement or advancement. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I have, but what's interesting is we've got your son in the 12th house. So was dad either not emotionally available, or was he physically
Oh
gone?
gosh, absolutely. To this day, he can't talk. He tried to have a relationship with his father. They don't in the same wavelength, their mindset. They're different people, and he
Yeah.
hasn't had a good father figure in his life ever.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I
Wow.
divorced his father. I divorced his father when he was only 1 year old because he was
Oh,
on drugs,
wow.
and
Okay.
the stepfather didn't do a good. Yeah, you're right on,
Oh,
right about that. Yes.
now, and if I want to talk about your father as well, so would your dad have been either emotionally not available or physically not present?
He wasn't the typical father, but he loved me very much and did what he
Yeah.
could. But he was a little emotionally absent. I had
Yeah.
clinging to my mother, and that's how it
Yeah.
went. But there was no negative. He's a very hardworking, loving man. Just didn't know how to show love. And his
Right.
way of
Right.
showing love was to spend money on me, and that's a little
Oh.
different. Yeah, which I understand now. At the time, it's a little hard growing up. Yeah.
And that makes sense. And, we've got your sun, your sun, in the 12th house. And usually, when I've got someone, a client with sun or moon, especially in the 12th house, they've got a tremendous amount, again, of sensitivity. And I always advise those clients to make sure that they are taking time out every day by themselves. So you need time alone every day, even if it's just a little time to take a walk or to
Oh yes,
meditate.
I do.
We're so sensitive
Yeah.
when it comes to other people's feelings and emotions that we've got to make sure that you're staying in tune with your own feelings and emotions. You
I don't
understand?
have many friends. Right. I don't have many friends. I'm pretty much a hermit and a loner. I do have time to myself, and I have a husband and my 19-year-old, which is born in February, but living with us. But yes, I can't. I have a lot of time to myself, and it's very important. I distance myself from friends. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Carol, we only have a few seconds left. I just want to add for you, your North Node is in the second house. So part of your life purpose and mission here is really to learn about valuing yourself, also about having your own source of income or money where you're not dependent on someone else
I
financially.
am. I am. That's absolutely true. I bought a house and a car all by myself. Nobody helped me.
Proud of you. Way to go, Carol. And thank you so much for calling in today. Okay.
Thank you. You are so correct. Thank you. I would recommend you to anyone. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too. And thank you, everyone, for joining me on this cosmic journey today. Remember, the stars may guide us, but we hold the power to shape our destiny. Keep shining bright and let your inner light lead the way.